Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm Ramsey personality George Camel, joined by my colleague, Mrs. Christina Ellis, and we are here to take your calls about pretty much anything you want to talk about. As long as we have an answer, if we don't, we'll tell you straight to your face. But we got a pretty good track record here. And we can talk about getting out of debt, investing, building wealth, going to college debt-free, how to get out of those crummy student loans that are hanging around your neck. And the number to call is 888-825-5225. If you've been a long-time listener or first-time listener and you're like, well, I'm not one of those people who calls in, I'm going to encourage you. I think today is your day. If you've been sitting on the sidelines, and I know you have questions because I get about 78 Instagram messages a day with like 4 paragraphs. I'm like, you got to call into the show. I can't sufficiently answer this because then we're going to go back and forth with my little thumbs. Easier to do it talking to you. So 888-825-5225 is the number to call. Ernie is kicking us off in Wichita. Ernie, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. And I'm only 2 weeks into this, so I'm taking that chance today.
I love it. Well, we appreciate that. How can we help?
Well, just some coaching. I'm looking for some coaching on whether to just jump in and pay off our house. My wife and I are retired educators, and we have the means through an early retirement incentive from our district, I think, to pay off our house. That's within 5 years. It's on a 3%. A vehicle that's on a 3%, and a vehicle that's on a 0%. So in 1 year's time, I believe that we can pay all 3 of those off and be debt-free.
I love it. So, first of all, congratulations, and thank you for your service to your community. We need awesome educators out there, and it sounds like you guys had a good run. How long were you educators for?
My wife for 37 years. She's been retired 4 years now, and 35 for me. I'm 2 months out of it.
Wow, that's incredible.
Congrats.
Okay, so let's talk about this early retirement. How much are you getting?
Well, it's a pretty sweet deal, and you don't recognize it when you sign up for things in your 20s, but she's receiving her version of that, and we've been just for the last 4 years just throwing that straight into investments with our advisor. She's pulling like $65,000 a year to stay at home. It's called the Bridge. It was intended to bridge us from age 60 to age 65 when you can start pulling Social Security if you're interested. So we're basically earning our paycheck for not coming to work. And
that goes for how long?
For 5 years. So we're 4 years into her 5. My 5 years starts in April.
Okay.
I had to retire prior to age 60 so I wouldn't lose out on part of that benefit. So starting in April, my share of that is going to be 6 figures, probably $115,000, $120,000.
Awesome. For 5 years.
A year for 5 years. And my thought was we have around $87,000 left on our home. And we have 2 vehicle loans that are, we have a Honda we're 3 years into, so we got 2 years left on it.
What's the loan on that?
I'm sorry, I don't have the monthly in front of me.
No, just the total loan. What do you owe on the car?
Probably 20.
Okay, and the other car?
28.
Okay. Is that all of your debt?
Yep.
Okay.
We do pretty good.
And do you have any other
occasional Discover bills? Yeah.
Do you have any other money in savings?
Quick on-hand stuff, probably $15,000.
And then beyond the 5 years, what happens then? What are you guys going to do for retirement? Do you have any other retirement savings?
So we have, we're receiving our Kansas Public Employees Retirement. So we have that for a lifetime. And we're pulling between the 2 of us, probably $6,000 a month from that. And we
currently?
have well over, currently.
And that's on top of the 5-year deal when you get your full income
Yep.
for 5 years. Sweet deal, man.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys can put this to good use, we can get rid of all of this debt. But right now, you don't have a pile of cash to throw. Are you getting these checks monthly?
Mine will start monthly. She has been receiving hers monthly, and it's been rolling straight into Roth.
Okay. Well,
So what we've been living on prior to my retirement in August, it was my paycheck and her retirement from the state. We're currently living off of my retirement and her retirement, and we're not touching anything. We're, adjusting to coming home with less money, making some adjustments, and trying to save as much as possible. But our retirement, our own personal savings through 401ks and Roths over the last 35 years, we have over $1 million worth of money in investments.
there we go.
That's it.
Don't bury the lead on me, Ernie.
Sorry.
So you guys can can withdraw from that tax-free at this point.
Yes.
Okay. Plus, you have this fantastic income.
Yes.
So I see
We're
that
sitting pretty sweet.
you've got two options here. One is you withdraw from the retirement accounts if you don't have all the money, and we pay off the cars today. The cars would come first. And then the other side of this is you could use your future income, which you have plenty of for the next 5 years, to clean up all of this debt. And after the 5 years, you're completely debt-free, and you never touch the retirement account, and it continued to grow.
So, would it be smart to, because we are doing fine with just our two public employee retirement, our $6,000 is a month. When I start pulling that in April, to just let's get rid of all of that in 1 year, because that monthly paycheck from that bridge payment, in 1 year's time, I will have received enough money to have paid off certainly the house and the two cars.
Yeah.
Or certainly the house and one car, and maybe two cars. I mean, instead of waiting,
I want all of this gone in a year. And so regardless of how you mix it up, and also I'd cut up those Discover cards. I want you to discover freedom instead. And you guys are going to have a much better retirement without playing with debt. You don't need to. You guys have built such an incredible level of wealth. There's no reason to try to do the 0% or the 3%. You're throwing out all the interest rates. Ernie, you don't need this anymore. You don't need the lenders. You've become the bank, my friend. That's why you do this stuff.
Yeah, you said you're new to this. You're doing so great, but just have that little bit of a mindset shift where you go, we aren't a family that does debt. No more debt. We've got the money to move forward with such freedom in retirement.
That changes the game in retirement, man. Now what could you do when you don't have a payment in the world? Not a mortgage payment, not a car payment. You're not worried about the interest rate. You're worried about Ernie and his family and his legacy.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
When the team gets together at Ramsey Solutions, we talk a lot about our mission to change America's toxic money culture, because it makes us mad to see people get trapped by debt or to watch kids sign away their future with student loans. And for the folks who work here, this isn't a JOB, this is a mission to change lives. And if you share that passion, you've got to check out all the exciting roles Ramsey Solutions is looking to fill ASAP. There's never been a better time to find a job doing work you love. We especially need developers and UX designers and writers to help us build digital products that actually change people's lives. And you can see what it's like to do work that matters before you ever apply. Go follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching Ramsey Careers. And go apply for your dream job at RamseySolutions.com/careers. That's RamseySolutions.com/careers. And before you ask, we don't have any remote positions. We are all under one roof, multiple buildings, but multiple roofs here in just south of Nashville, Tennessee. So if you're looking to make the move, it is worth it. It's a wonderful city and a great place to work. RamseySolutions.com/careers. Open phones this hour at 888-825-5225. B joins us up next in San Diego. B, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. How can Christina and I help?
Okay, so I'm kind of nervous.
It's all right. You're going to do fine. We're freaking out, too, if it helps.
Thank you. Well, it's kind of bad, but so I called back in, I want to say like April 2020 for my debt-free screen, and it was with Dave Ramsey and Dr. John Deloney, and I was like super excited. Especially like heading into a pandemic, I just felt like super relieved that I had gotten out of debt. But then like I saved up the emergency fund. I started investing, like doing everything that like following the baby steps, and then I kind of like drained my emergency account to start a Roth IRA with like a financial pro. And I never really got like my emergency fund built back up before like Murphy started hitting. So
that's how it goes.
I know. So I kind of ended up back in debt, and I was like, well, I'll make a goal to pay it off in a year, and that year passed a couple months ago, and I'm still like looking at this $10,000 that I owe. And
what kind of debt is it?
It's on my car.
Okay, so you didn't have the emergency fund. You had car problems. You had to get a new car, and so you bought a car on a loan?
Yes.
Okay.
I bought it for $14,000, and over the past year, I've only really paid off like about $4,000 of it.
You just been making the minimum payments, pretty much.
Yeah, I essentially just like rounded up to to 500. So it's like I've been making extra payments on it. I just haven't been like intentional with it.
How much?
And I just feel like a hypocrite. And I'm like,
that's all right. Hey, you know what? Dave's not here. We're going to treat this like a Planet Fitness. This is a judgment-free zone today. We're not going to beat you up. The fact that you called, you showed up, you were vulnerable and honest, it's okay.
Yeah. How much debt did you pay off the first time?
Oh my God, like $47,000.
Wow.
How long did that take?
It took me about a year and a half to do that.
And that was the same person who stands before us today saying they can't pay off $10,000 in a year.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I honestly, I really hate to like, I've been actually thinking about that for a couple of days now, but when I was paying all that stuff off, I lived on like the East Coast, and I didn't really like have much to like do where I lived, and now I live in San Diego, and I'm doing all these like crazy fun things.
What I'm hearing is your lifestyle creeped up. You got a little bit lazy, and we went, we're in California, let's have a good time. And here we are.
Exactly.
Back at square one.
And I'm just like, I don't need to pay off my car. But like in the back of my mind, I'm like, why do I have this stupid debt? Like, I hate this.
When you called in back in 2020 and you were talking through your debt-free scream, what was your why in that moment? When they were asking you what motivated you to pay off $47,000 in debt, what was your motivation then?
Honestly, I had two motivations. I kind of like wanted to prove to my family that like you didn't need to rely on debt. 'Cause like my whole family background is like we lost our house during the 2008 recession and all that stuff. So I've just kind of always had like financial trauma surrounding my family. So like that was my biggest push, was to like be an idol for like my younger siblings, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It absolutely does. You that was your never again. You said my family tree is going to look a lot different because of the decisions that I made. I think we need to channel back to those days and go, I know it. I hate to be here, and I made decisions that weren't great, and I used my emergency fund as an investment tool, and I know I made some mistakes. Great. Let's pick it up and move forward and go, what can we do now? So what is your income?
It just increased. I make about $8,000 a month.
B, that's an amazing income. Why is this debt not gone, 2-3 months from now?
That's a great question.
Can you live off nothing for the next 2 months and clear the debt?
I hate this car too, so in my brain I'm like, I don't even like my car. It was just something I bought real quick in the thick of it.
How much could you sell the car for?
I don't know, probably $12,000 or $14,000.
And how much do you have in the bank?
I want to say around $7,000.
Okay, this is a non-issue, B. If you want to be debt-free today, go sell the car and get you a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 car.
Yeah.
That you like more.
And B, who are you hanging out with in San Diego? It sounds like you've changed communities. You got a different lifestyle. Do you have any other friends who are frugal, who are kind of thinking the same way you are about money, or at least the way you want to think about money?
No, honestly, like all my friends are into like the whole credit card point thing and all that stuff. But
are you married?
Every time. Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
No, she said. Okay, I'm just figuring out who we can use to keep you accountable on this journey, because it sounds like it's pretty lonely, and you're just out there living La Vida Loca with no one to tell you, hey, maybe we should pay off some debt and make some grown-up decisions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and this was also like my first time sort of like living alone too. So like back when I paid off debt, I had like roommates that were like a part of the process, and they were just like checking things off with me and stuff. So now it's just me and my dog.
That's fun.
Well, it sounds like you do great in community. I would encourage you to find a local FPU class and actually go to that and get cheerleaders around you, get other people around you who are walking through this journey, who are motivated, who aren't going to be people that you're comparing yourself to and feeling that FOMO. Like, you want people around you who will be your cheerleaders and are excited for you paying off debt, not talking about the latest credit card reward deal.
Yeah.
Have you been through FPU?
Not a bad idea. I have.
When'd you go through it?
Actually, twice. I think I've been through it. I used to make it like a yearly goal to do it again, but then since like the pandemic and all that stuff and all the stuff shut down, I just kind of like lost track of.
Okay. Well, you know what they say, B, third time's the charm. And so what we're going to do is gift you Financial Peace University for 1 year. It's got the latest videos in there, including a new lessons with Dr. John Deloney and myself. And I hope that's the motivation you need. I can't sit here and make you motivated. You've got to find your own why and use that to drive your budget, your behavior, your lifestyle. And you have an amazing income. And you have money in the bank. Throw 6 of that at the debt, take it down to 4, and this month we're debt-free on your next paycheck. It's that simple. It's just you have to decide, am I going to do this stuff, or am I going to keep living in the shame and guilt and baggage, or do I just want to move forward, completely debt-free, once and for all? You get to decide. I hope you make the right choice. This is The Ramsey Show.
I say it all the time. If you're a business owner and you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And when markets are shifting, it's even more important. You've got to know where you stand so you make your next move the right move. And you don't have to be in the dark here. Over 31,000 businesses, including my team at Ramsey, know their numbers because they use NetSuite. by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, planning, budgeting, and inventory so you can manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Having everything in one place has saved my team hours each week since we made the switch to NetSuite. NetSuite is a game changer. So head on over to netsuite.com/Ramsey to get a product tour today. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, host of the Fine Print Entree Leadership Podcast, as well as co-host of Smart Money Happy Hour, joined by Christina Ellis, best-selling author. You can check out all the shows I just mentioned, as well as this one, on the Ramsey Network or wherever you listen to podcasts. Open phones this hour at 888-825-5225. Ryan joins us up next in Kansas. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. What's going on?
Well, my wife and I were both 45 years old, and we will be completely out of debt in about 3 years, mortgage and house and everything.
Awesome.
So
That's great.
we're excited about that. My wife will be taking over her parents' catering business probably in the next 3 or 4 years, and just kind of having a hard time figuring out kind of the finances, how we're going to do that type of thing. So just kind of wanted to get your guys' input. They've kind of basically have said that they want her to kind of run it and then kind of split the profit 50-50. And I don't think they really plan much for retirement. I'm not sure if that's necessarily the best way to do it. We want them to have a good retirement. We want them to enjoy retirement, but it kind of feels like it's going to be a pretty big burden on my wife and a strain on the business. We would rather not, have to take out a loan to buy the business, and that type of thing.
So they're saying, hey, instead of you buying the business from us and giving us money, we can do this where we get a certain percentage of the profit over a certain period of time.
Well, the period of time is kind of they're kind of...
They want it forever? That's the retirement plan?
That's pretty much.
Yeah, I'm not taking that deal.
Yeah.
What happens if they live 35 more years?
That's what I asked too.
We need this on paper.
We could be retirement, and we could want to retire at 65 and still have to work to fund their retirement.
Yeah, you said seems like several times. Have y'all actually sat down with them and had a very clear conversation about the numbers, where you've actually seen the numbers and had clear expectations laid out?
No, we've tried. We did this about a year ago. They're very secretive about how much they make, how much the business makes.
That's always good, taking over the business from people who won't tell you anything.
Yeah, and so it's just, we love them, but it's just kind of frustrating because we never know. I mean, they're both 75. We want them to enjoy retirement. We don't expect to get the business for free or anything like that. We, willing to work with them, but...
That's why I think settling on a number. So, like, what does the business bring in? What's the top line revenue? You have no idea.
No idea. I know my wife has no idea.
If this wasn't her parents' business and someone said, hey, you want to take over this business? I won't tell you how much it makes. I won't tell you anything about what our net profit is, but do you want to give us 50% of the profits forever? You would tell them to kick rocks and pound sand, wouldn't you?
Exactly, yeah.
And so we're not going to move forward with this until they're going to be honest, and we're going to see these numbers on paper, not just hearsay.
Well, and even then, you may not want to move forward with it.
But your wife wants to take over the catering business?
Well, yeah, I mean, she's worked for him for 20 years. It's hard work.
That's different than does she want to, just because it's comfortable and it's what she knows.
Yeah, she wants to, but she kind of wants to know how much she's going to be making, and that kind of thing too.
Is she working there full time right now?
Yeah.
Well, what does she make right now as a full-time employee?
She makes $50,000.
So ideally, she's making a lot more than that if she is an owner of the business. Now, that's before the split profits.
Yeah, and that's the only thing. We don't know. I mean, we don't know if it's going to be...
They may be pulling in 60,000. And now we got to split that, and it's 30.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would tread lightly, carefully, with legal documentation, not because we don't trust them, but because we don't want relationships to get severed in this process.
Right. Okay.
So I would parse this out. You taking over this business is not their retirement plan. Their lack of planning does not constitute your emergency in this scenario.
Okay.
And so if the plan is, hey, unless this goes perfectly and this business runs perfectly, we can't put food on the table, that's a dangerous situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would make sure that we have very clear rules on what this is going to look like. Because what happens if there's a down year?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's so much fluctuation with catering in general, and a year like COVID was really hard.
Yeah.
And the thing when her mom does a lot of the baking and decorating, and so when she retires, she's going to have to hire somebody to kind of fill that role. I don't know. I think it's just going to be kind of a strain on the business to support.
Yeah, you may have to hire outside people, which will be another expense, which will reduce profits. It sounds like it's very messy and sticky, especially with the emotional aspect. I'm sure that the fact that the parents don't have a lot of retirement and savings is nerve-wracking. So then your wife may feel a little bit of an obligation to continue forward with this business to help her parents. But I would also challenge you to consider the option of selling the business to someone else. Like potentially if your wife doesn't want to keep this specific business, maybe she wants to start her own catering company from the ground up. The parents can still sell the business to someone else, and then they have that clear boundary, that hard break where they no longer have their foot in the business. They no longer have control of the finances, and then they could possibly have a little nest egg to move forward with in their retirement.
And again, you want that in writing for sure.
We would buy it from them, and they're like, well, we're afraid we're going to run out of money for retirement. So
I know it sounds harsh, but that's not your problem. And so you say, hey, I'm willing to purchase it outright, but we're not going to do this deal where you just get 50% forever. We're not comfortable with that. Unless you say you get 50% up until X number, and we call that good. And if you never hit that number, that's a risk they're taking as well.
A number of years to do that.
All this to say, this is messy, and it's given me anxiety, and so I would tread with a lot of caution here and get everything on paper. And even if in the contract, you might want to say, hey, we have the right to sell this business and give you half of whatever the sale is and call that good. Okay. And if they go, well, that's not enough for us, well, sorry, that's what we agreed to, because who knows?
Okay.
I don't want your wife stuck with this because now she's trying to cover her parents' retirement plan.
Yeah.
Right.
I would also encourage you, when you sit down to have this conversation, you may need to have a third party in the room, like an attorney who can kind of bring some reality to that conversation. Because with it being her parents, it might be easy for them to say, hey, like, don't cross this boundary. Like, I'm the parents, you're the daughter.
Well, they can bring in a lot of emotion and drama and manipulation and go, we raised you. You owe us this.
And you need someone who can be completely objective and just bring the facts and say, this is what is normal in a business transition. This is what is expected. And it's not personal, it's not feelings, but this is what is healthy.
Both parties. And they'll have ways they can structure it to where it protects both of you.
Okay.
So, and are you working full-time outside of this business?
Yeah, I teach. Yeah, so I work full-time, and we've got a 401k and an IRA. So we're on a good good plan. I think we just kind of need to get this ironed out.
Yeah. Well, and you guys being completely debt-free, house and everything 3 years from now is going to help out this whole situation because you've got wiggle room and margin in case the business takes a few years to get off the ground if she does take it over.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate so much your guys' wisdom and feedback. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Appreciate the call, man. And I'm going to send you a copy of Dave's book, Entree Leadership, and this is his playbook for how he started this business on a card table in his living room and has grown it to this amazing empire. And I think it's going to help you guys get some parameters and boundaries and help you understand the right way to run a business, because I don't know how this business has been running. We don't know anything about this business, but this will lay out exactly how to do hiring and firing and structure pay and a lot of the leadership principles as well, because she hasn't been in that leadership role. She's been an employee. And so it's a very different side of the coin there.
Yeah, and family businesses can be tricky, but, thankfully you've seen several successful family businesses through hosting the Entre Leadership podcast. It can work, but
only with a lot of intentionality and a lot of honesty.
Exactly.
So hang on the line. Jenna's going to pick up. We're going to send you a copy of Entre Leadership, and I hope that helps you guys make a wise decision about this family business. And if it's not right, it's okay to say no thank you, and the business goes away. It gets sold. It's not your problem. Thanks for calling. More of your calls coming up. 888-825-5225. This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel, joined by Christina Ellis this hour. This is The Ramsey Show. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Lily is in Austin, Texas. Lily, how's it going?
Hi, how are you guys?
Doing great. How are you? How can we help?
I'm doing good. My question is more college related.
Love it.
Love that.
My question is, how can I present y'all's philosophy to an overwhelmed 17-year-old that it's about to go to college next year?
When you say overwhelmed, explain that to me. What does overwhelmed look like for?
Our parents really didn't set up any accounts. They are not familiar with getting him ready to go to college. So just the prospect of filling out scholarships, things like that are not in front of him to do. So I recently found you guys this year, and I definitely want him to go this route. It's ultimately his decision. But I just don't know how to present the philosophy to him
Lily,
in a way that he can be receptive to it.
Yeah, Lily, are you his sister?
Yes.
Oh, way to be an
That's
amazing
awesome.
sister.
How old are you?
27.
Well, thank you. Thank you for doing that. We need more sisters and siblings and mentors who are willing to just step up and get in the gap and say, hey, you don't have to go into debt for college, and I'm going to walk you through this. So I'm really thankful you're taking ownership of that.
Thank you.
So whenever you talk to him about college right now, does he get defensive? Is he receptive? What's kind of his perspective and take on it?
Right now he's interested in going to community college. We live in different states. And he wants to go to medicine as his field of choice. So I definitely don't want him to go into that traditional route of just starting his biology degree and then just getting student loans left and right to cover everything when there are so many other options.
Yes.
But he has to put forth some work in order to get those options.
Yeah, well, the very first place I would start is with our Borrowed Future documentary. And the reason I love this is because it paints different stories of, one, why you shouldn't go into debt. So we've got stories about people who went into tremendous debt. We have somebody who is a doctor who went into $1 million in student loan debt, and he's literally crying in the documentary because it's, completely affected his life in a very dramatic way. But we also have success stories of people who went to school without debt, through scholarships, through working their way through maybe going to a different college than they originally envisioned. So you kind of have that picture painted for a student where you don't necessarily have to just give them a bunch of tactics straight away, but they can see the why themselves. They can see the why through real life stories. So I would start there because we've had a lot of students watch that and go, wow, light bulb moment. I didn't realize that I could do this debt free. And then after that, I would start getting into some of the tactics. Once he's got that motivation, start walking through exactly how you do that. I love that community college is the first place that he's looking because a lot of states have free community college. Do you know, has he looked into the different community colleges he wants to go to? I know Texas has some amazing programs.
So he currently resides in Florida. I live in Texas. I've mentioned to him the alternative of coming to Texas because UT Austin is awesome, for example. Mm-hmm. So he's looking, he's centered into just going to one community college in the same district he's graduating from. And that's a great option, but there are so many that he could look into.
Yeah, well, I do love that that's the first step that he's looking at. We've got some great resources to help him. We've got a book called Debt Free Degree by Anthony O'Neill. I've written a couple books, Confessions of a Scholarship Winner and How to Graduate Debt Free, to help walk through the every single step process of what he needs to know. So I personally won over $500,000 in scholarships, got super motivated to apply that direction. But I also encourage students, even if they don't get scholarships, even if they don't get a full ride, there are so many different ways to go to school debt free, especially now. There are incredible tuition assistance programs. So a lot of companies now will pay for your college education while you're earning money. And it sounds like he's pretty independent at this point. Like, he's not going to have a lot of help after high school paying for his bills. So having a employer like a Starbucks or an Amazon or one of the many companies that offer this, give him a paycheck every week and also pay for his college education could really help him set him up for success in his finances.
Okay.
I would just encourage you to walk with him through this, because it is overwhelming. You said he's kind of overwhelmed, and maybe you could even set up like a weekly call with him so that he doesn't feel like he's on his own. You know, pick up one of these books and go through week by week and say, okay, today we're going to talk about community college. I want you to come to our call with, you know, a list of 5 community colleges in the area. I want you to research their programs. I want you to research, you know, how you can transfer to a 4-year school after that. And then maybe the next week you talk about tuition assistance programs. Maybe he wants to start at a 4-year school, and you can find an amazing tuition assistance program where he can kind of work through that. Maybe the next week is a little module on scholarships, and you can help him research. Come to this meeting with 10 scholarships you want to apply for this week. I think that it's amazing that you're helping him walk through this process, because simply having a partner with him in this can help reduce so much of that anxiety. You know, I'm so thankful for my mom, because, you know, she didn't have the money to pay for my college education, but what she couldn't give me in money, she gave me in help. She was willing to sit in the library with me as I filled out scholarship applications. She was willing to do the research with me and tell me, it's going to be okay. I know you feel overwhelmed right now, but I am in the ring with you. You are not alone in this.
It's so good to have a coach in the corner like that. And Lily, you're one of those people. I mean, would you consider yourself like another parent to him?
I'm the sister, but it's just like with having this big of a gap, there's an extra level of responsibility because there is so much life experience in between us.
Well, it sounds like you care more about his future and him going to college debt free than your parents do.
They're normal, so I'm trying to get him to come to the weird wagon.
The weird wagon. That's my new favorite term for the Ramsey way. Well, Lily, we are cheering you on, and we're going to gift you a link to go watch Borrowed Future. And maybe you guys could, I know you're states apart, but maybe you could hit play at the same time and then get on the phone and have a conversation about it after, and maybe incentivize them. You know, maybe say, hey, I'm going to buy you dinner. I'm going to Venmo you some money to get some dinner as an incentive to watch this with me on a Friday night virtually, and then we're going to talk about it after, and that will start some really cool conversations that otherwise wouldn't have happened. And then it's not you talking at him. It's him coming to you saying, hey, I heard this in that doc. Is that true about how the student loan? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I want to take debt off the table completely. And so if you can help me get creative and find ways to do that, I'm all for it. And what's really cool is we're celebrating the 1-year anniversary of Borrowed Future.
Woohoo!
And we're doing a big celebration, launching the film on YouTube October 17th at 7 p.m. Central with a watch party. And if you don't know what Borrowed Future is, we keep talking about it. It's our award-winning documentary that uncovers the dark side of the student loan industry. And we believe every high schooler, every parent of a high schooler, everyone in education needs to watch this film and share it with someone that you know needs to see it as well. So you can, following the watch party on Monday, you can view Borrowed Future on YouTube for free for the first time on demand. And of course, the film will still be available on Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, Google Play, RamseySolutions.com, where you can rent it ad-free. And so let's continue to disrupt this toxic student loan industry and show kids that there is another path. It doesn't have to end with frustration and anxiety going, no one told me that I was going to end up $300,000 in debt and I don't have the dream job. And now I need to get a different job just to pay the bills. And it feels like I'll never get out of this thing.
And what's so interesting is one of the most common things I hear from people when I tell them what I do, that I help people pay for college, is I just wish someone would have sat me down in high school and explained to me that I didn't have to go into student loan debt. And it's crazy that there are so many 17-year-olds that they don't have anybody having that conversation with them. No one's sitting down and telling them there is another way. You don't have to cripple your financial future when you're 17 and 18 years old. And I just encourage you to share this documentary and help students realize that they don't have to go into debt. Plant that seed. I know sometimes 17-year-olds can be resistant to that message. They can say, oh, like they're overwhelmed. Like she said, her brother is overwhelmed.
We were all teenagers. We remember.
Right? But just planting that seed, you don't know how deep that seed will go. Just plant the seed and give them the opportunity to have that awakening.
Amen. So join us Monday night for our Borrowed Future Watch Party, October 17th, 7 p.m. Central on our YouTube channels. You can go right now and RSVP, click Notify Me on the Ramsey Show's YouTube channel. We'll get a reminder going. How cool it'd be if thousands of us all across the country are watching this together, sparking conversations with the next generation, helping them go to college completely debt-free. Love it. That puts this hour in the books. My thanks to my co-host, Christina Ellis, all the folks in the booth, and you, America. We'll be back with you before you know it.
Have you been inspired to make a change with your money? Want to know where to start? Take our 3-minute money quiz to get a plan you can follow. Go to RamseySolutions.com and search for Get Started to get a plan for your money.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm George Campbell, joined this hour by best-selling author Christina Ellis, and we are taking your calls at 888-825-5225. If you need a little confirmation, motivation, affirmation, sometimes you just need that little nudge, Christina, to go, okay, I thought I was going to do the thing, and now I'm going to do the thing. I just needed a little boost of confidence because there's a lot of voices and noise in today's culture, and we're like the, unbiased but biased third party who's going to tell you what to do, and hopefully it ends up working out for you. So 888-825-5225 is the number. LD joins us up first in Atlanta, Georgia. LD, welcome to the show.
Hi, good afternoon.
How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
So I'm starting a new job next month, and on the encouragement from my friend Brian, he recommended to call you guys because I'm trying to understand where which retirement benefit I should pick.
Okay.
But that's best for me. So
How old are you?
This new job. I'm 32.
Okay. Sweet. And what's the job?
It's an engineer, a researcher.
Very cool. Are you getting a raise from what you were doing previously?
Yeah, I did. Like 10% or so.
Very nice. Okay, so what are your retirement options?
So the first option is a 401a defined benefit. It is 2% times years of service based on the 24 highest consecutive months. It comes with a 10-year vesting requirement, and employment contribution is 6% on that.
Is that a match, or is that just they're going to put in 6% even if you do nothing?
No, they're going to put in, I think it's around 15% or so, or 18%.
So what's the 6?
The 6 is my contribution as the employee.
Okay. So if you do this defined benefit, you have to put in 6%?
Yes.
Okay. That's mandatory.
Yeah.
All right.
And the other option is a standard 401k defined contribution. I put in 6. They'll match 9. But it's immediate. There's no vesting required on that.
And do they have Roth options?
I don't think so. It's just these two options.
Okay. I would ask just to make sure, because my favorite is the Roth 401k. And based on what you're telling me here, I personally, we answer questions, what would we do if we were in your shoes today? I would choose the 401k.
Gotcha.
You have way more control over that. And the defined benefit's going to die when you do. The 401k you can pass on.
Right. Yeah. That's. I've been teetering between that as well. I was thinking that exactly what you were saying. I can control that. I can leave it to someone if I wanted to.
And that 9% match, that's a really good
incredible.
match still. They're offering you a pretty strong benefit there. And it gives you that freedom too. Is this a job that you plan on being at for 10 years?
Definitely for 10 years. More than that, I'm not sure. I mean, anything's possible. If as long as I'm my philosophy, as long as I'm happy, I'll stay. Kind of mentality.
All right. And are you out of debt completely?
I'm on baby step 3.
Okay.
Good job.
How far are you away from getting that 3 to 6 months of expenses?
I would say in about a year.
A year to save up 3 to 6 months? That can't be. How much are you making at this new job?
Maybe less than that.
What's your new salary?
It's going to be around 130.
130, and what's 1 month of expenses of just to cover all of your normal bills?
Sure. It will be, let me see, about $4,500.
Okay, so it's not going to take a year. Let's say you even had a 6-month emergency fund. That's $20,000. Making 130, how quickly could you save up 20 of that if you have no debt?
Yeah, I think if I really wanted to, I think I could probably do it under. I think I'd probably do it 6 months, maybe on a little less.
There we go. And what if I said, hey, LD, you shouldn't invest until you have that fully funded emergency fund? Would that light a fire under you to go, man, I'm missing out on this match. I really want to get this emergency fund so I can get to investing.
Oh, yeah, no.
Then you'd be like, I can do this in 3 months, actually. 4 months, tops, right? And so that's the power of pausing investing and doing these steps one at a time. And so I would encourage you to do just that, to pause investing, even when you get the new job, pause until you have that fully funded emergency fund. And now that may be closer to 3 months for you. I don't know your situation. I think 10 is your bare minimum, but I would aim somewhere in between that 10 and 20 range to protect you against Murphy, because Murphy's going to come running for you when you get that new job, and you're going to have car repair and the HVAC and all kinds of things can happen.
How do you feel about that, LD? Are you going to do it?
Yeah, definitely. I absolutely. I think that's a good step. That's a good plan.
Well, that's a great place to be. Congrats on the new gig. Again, I'm going with the 401k. I think the defined benefit can look great on paper for a lot of people, Christina, but similar to a pension, you don't have much control over it. And so the investment gains aren't as great as if you had control, where you get to choose all the funds, and it dies with you.
Yeah. And I mean, just the 10-year vesting requirement. This is a new job. I hope that it's a great job, but there is always that risk that you're not going to stay.
Much higher commitment level.
Yeah. But I love the motivation. I love that you're excited about investing. I love the match. That's very exciting.
That's
but
huge.
I also love the fire under you.
Like it.
Waiting
I know it sounds,
until you have that emergency
it's
fund.
like a good coach who's going like, hey, you don't get to eat that cake until you finish the workout. Because once you eat the cake, you're like, I don't know if I feel like working out today. You know? And so you kind of, when you get comfortable, you're not as willing to do the hard things.
Yes.
So that's my encouragement. And you heard us talking about those baby steps, folks. That is our proven plan for the last 30 years. 10 million people have used this to get out of debt. And when you get out of debt, you can get to do your debt-free scream on the show. And all of those people at some point had to say, I've had it. I'm not living like this anymore. And when you get mad like that, you do what they did, your life will change too. And right now, inflation and your stupid credit cards, they're killing you. And you've been led to believe that you're not in control of your money, that life just has to happen to you. But that's wrong. You do have control. You have to decide to control what you can control, and that's you, your behavior. You have the power to change your future, and Financial Peace University will show you how. This is the course that will teach you our proven step-by-step plan that's helped nearly 10 million people beat debt, master budgeting, and build wealth. And you can do it too. America, stop letting debt and money stress control your life. You just have to start with these magic words. I've had it. And then take back control. You can start Financial Peace University right now at RamseySolutions.com/FPU. That's RamseySolutions.com/FPU. We'll be right back on The Ramsey Show.
I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Christina Ellis. This is your show, America. Give us a call, 888-825-5225. Tampa, Florida is where we go next. Dane joins us there. Dane, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. First-time caller. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, thank you for being brave and calling in.
Thank you. So I'm a 60-year-old male with 3 children. Just recently went through a real contentious divorce. Got
sorry.
really hammered there. The judge really sided on one side. I feel like I'm starting all over again. I'm 60 years old. I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars with a divorce. I'm back down to square one, almost like I'm just graduated from college and I'm starting again. But I've been with this job for 30 years. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Everything that comes in goes right back out with child support and insurance. And we did overspend. My ex was 15 years my junior. We did live beyond our means. We had a bankruptcy in the divorce. I ended up having to pay that down myself. That was around $80,000. I did pay that off. But now I'm not putting anything in the bank. I'm saving nothing every month.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Dane. Where are you at financially today? Where do you stand? Do you have any debt? Do you have money in the bank?
Well, I have 2 cars, mine and my son's. I bought my son a car, and I do have about let's say $8,000 in credit cards, and that's it.
How much on the cars?
I don't own a home. The car, the one car I owe $15,000, and the other car I owe $25,000.
Okay, what's your income?
I was making $105. I just got a raise. I'm up to $150.
Wonderful.
And that's the other thing. I just went up, but the ex found out about it, went to her attorney, and now I'm paying her more child support now because
increased percentage.
Yep.
Oh.
So she just found out. Yeah. So I can't have any more raises. I told my boss you can't give me any more money.
How old are your kids?
One's 19. He just went in the Navy. I have a 17-year-old who will graduate from high school next year, and a 13-year-old.
Is the 16-year-old one with the car loan?
Yes.
Okay. What's that car worth?
So he's killing me every. Yeah. What's that car worth?
Yeah.
I owe $15,000.
What is it worth though? If you sold it today, private party, Kelley Blue, book value. What's your best guess?
I'm really not sure. I bought it at 19. I owe 15. I could probably get 12.
You think you're underwater on it?
Yeah, I think I am.
Okay, do your homework on that one to make sure. My first gut move is sell the car. The 16-year-old doesn't need to be driving that nice of a car. Up until about this year, I was driving cars that were a third of that cost, and so I think we can get by and say, hey, son, listen, life's been tough, and I want you to have a nice car. And if you want to save up and get something, I'll go in with you on that, but we can't do this with debt going forward.
Okay.
So that's one option.
$400 a month on that one.
And, yeah, aside from monthly payments, you've got the way I see it on paper, you make $150K, and you have $48 in debt. So the math checks out that you could pay this debt off within the year. But the problem is right now you don't have margin.
What are your monthly expenses right now? What's the total of your outgo right now?
Well, when I sold the house, we had not much into it because, like I said, we lived beyond our means. We put more into the house than was worth, so got very little bit out of that. But I rent now, and my rent is $3,200 a month.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I know. I can't stay in this place very much. In fact, as soon as my son graduates from high school next year, I'm leaving this place. I can't afford that.
Is it a house?
It's a house.
Okay. How much room do you need?
This is this was a 4-2 because I had my 3 children then with me.
Sure.
And so now when he graduates, I'll go down to a 2-2. Will be just me and my daughter.
Okay. So you've got 2 kids at the house right now?
Yes.
Okay. And graduation is happening when?
June of next year.
Okay, so we got some time there.
And how much are you paying a month in child support?
$1,200.
So aside from that, where's the $150 now going?
Where else does my salary go?
Yes. You said insurance, child support. What else?
Child support, insurance for the kids. That's $1,200 a month.
Are they working?
My son does work. He just got a job.
And you're talking about auto insurance?
Oh, yeah. My auto insurance is $600 a month.
Okay. I'm wondering, can the kids start to chip in if they're working for their own insurance and say, hey, you're driving the car, here's what I'm requiring of you. You pay for your insurance, you pay for your gas, you pay for your maintenance.
I told him he just has to start paying for his gas.
Okay.
They just started doing that now.
So other than that, are you doing a monthly budget? I know life's been nuts for you.
No, I haven't.
Okay. I'm going to help you with that and gift you 1 year of every dollar premium. And what I want you to do, you have a great income, and right now it feels like it's just disappearing into the abyss, right?
Right.
But when you can make a plan on paper and you list out, I'm assuming your take-home pay is $150 gross, and so the take-home pay is close to $9 or so grand a month?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you investing right now?
I do. I think I'm putting in about, $500 a month into my 401k.
Okay. We're going to pause that for a short period of time so that we have some margin to clean up this debt. And you're going to be back to investing in no time. I know you're 60. You're going, I got to retire too, man. But it's hard when you can't even get out of the cycle. So if you're willing to do that, pause investing, go through, make a budget, list your income at the top, then you're going to list all of your expenses. And as you look at it, you're going to go, man, I need a creative way to lower this bill. Is this one of the kids' bills? Can I see if they can chip in there? Am I overpaying for insurance? I'm going to go shop with Xander across all of my insurance premiums. You know what? I can cut the subscription for now. I'm not going to eat out because right now we have $48,000 to tackle. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to put myself on a financial foundation as I start this new chapter of my life that I did not ask for, but it's where we find ourselves.
Right. Well, you may also have to have some real conversations with the kids. Be really honest about where you are financially and just, let them know, like George said earlier, that they probably need to contribute a bit more. And also with the rent, I would encourage you, I know that you're waiting until one of the kids is out of the house, but just shop around and see if you can find something cheaper. I mean, I know it's tough because, having kids, you want a little bit of space, but that's a pretty big outgo monthly. And if you could find
I definitely want to get out of that house, but I wanted to stay there until my son graduates in June. So I really need to do that because it's right close to the high school. So I need I need to really stay there. So I'll.
When is the lease up?
I go month to month right now. So anytime I can bail, but.
I'd still look around. You said you're in a 4.2. Could you go down to a 3? And now we get the rent down to $2,500. And so I still want you to do your homework on that. Right. And if it's
but
5,
then I got to move again when my son graduates. Then I got to move again.
I understand moving is not fun, but if it means we're going to get out of debt 6 months faster, It's worth the headache.
How is your landlord? Do you have a pretty good relationship with the landlord? Because I'm wondering if is there any chance that you could do a 6-month lease through the end of June and see if he can give you a little bit better of a rate? Say, I'm guaranteeing I'll be here for this amount of time, and in exchange for that, could you give me a little bit lower monthly payment?
That's a good move. So, Dane, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to gift you 1 year of Every Dollar Premium. I want you to create your monthly budget, track it, stick to it, try to shave down all the expenses, try to add in as much as you can on the income side. And we're going to gift you 1 year of Financial Peace University as well. Watch all 9 lessons to motivate you and realize that it's not too late for you. I know you're 60 and you're starting this weird new chapter of your life, but you can do this, man. It may not be what you hoped for, pictured, but this is where we find ourselves, and we can move forward. We can still have a great retirement. We can still raise some great kids. And also go to RamseySolutions.com and search for divorce checklist. We've got some great info from there from Dr. John Deloney that covers a lot of the financial pieces for you to think about. Make sure all of your I's are dotted, T's are crossed.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Campbell, joined by Christina Ellis. It's a free call at 888-825-5225. Matthew is up next in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Matthew, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much. Appreciate everyone's help. And my quick synopsis of where I am. My wife and I have 2 leased vehicles right now. One is not going to be done for a couple of years. It's still like 30 months out from being expired, and the lease payment's very low, so we're happy with it. The second one is coming off in April, and the buyout is around $25,000, which we put aside, and we have, but we're now thinking, like, do we really need a used $25,000 car, even though it has very low miles on it? So we're trying to figure out, like, what's the best thing to do here? Should we wait until, the dealership says, okay, do you want to buy it? Do you want to lease it? Or do you want to extend the lease, or whatever you want to do with it? Do we just hand it back, look for a car that's, let's say $10,000 cheaper, and take the money and put it to other, needs that we have in our life? Or because the car has so few miles on it, relatively speaking, and the cost of cars keeps going, we just keep it and say, look, it's a long term. This is something we're going to hold on to, and we've taken the payment away.
What's your financial situation? Yeah, what's your financial situation right now? Do you have any debt?
So we don't have any other debt other than that. We have our 5 to 6 months of emergency fund. We are into a pretty large mortgage that was originally a 30, and we're putting an extra principal payment every month in to try and get it down to 15 years. We've got most of the monies that we've kind of said to our children that we were going to put aside for college, and we have steady jobs. So really it's just kind of the last little hurdle is getting rid of the car payments, and then we can really, have that freed up money to throw more at the mortgage or our retirement.
So are you done with leasing cars?
I'm done with leasing cars. I mean, listen, I've always been a Ramsey listener, and then during COVID, we kind of reshuffled our life and moved, and when we did all of this, we really realized like we were just completely mismanaging so much of the gifts that we have, and the the economic gifts of being employed and healthy.
Okay.
And we realized that we've got to get out of this gig.
Okay, good. What's your household income?
About $160.
All right. And how much do you have in cash in the bank, between all the bank accounts, liquid cash?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
How much do you have in cash across your bank accounts?
Our emergency fund has about $50,000 in it, and then we have this other $25,000 that we put aside to kind of buy one of the leases, figuring which one we would kind of buy.
What's the other early buyout on the other lease? You said still has a few more years left.
It's gonna be more than this one. This one is about $25,000. The other one is, because it's further out, it's closer to $27,000.
Okay, so why don't we just go ahead and do early buyout on both, and we pay the $52,000. Then we can sell both cars. If you don't like one of them, sell them. But you guys have the money to do it. You have the income to do it.
Yeah.
It makes you completely debt-free today.
Yeah.
Why not just do that instead of continuing this thing?
Right. And so with an early buyout, I mean, they don't give you any type of a break. I mean, you're basically whatever's left on the lease, they add to whatever was decided upon when you leased it, correct? There's no leverage that you have at all.
I'm not sure the terms you signed, but it's worth looking into to see if you can get out of this thing, even if you pay the stupid tax on it, because you're going to pay more continuing the lease for years. So I'm not going to choose to stay in debt for years because I got a bad deal. This is part of what we call stupid tax, and you learn from it, and you go, never again am I going to lease a car. We call it a fleece around here because it's the most expensive way to operate a vehicle, and it makes the dealerships really rich and you really broke. All the while, they convince you that this is the wisest thing to do, and it's so great because you don't have to worry about maintenance. It's a nightmare, and you know that now.
Right.
On the car that's coming up with the lease ending, do you like that car?
It's a solid car. It's a Arcadia. It's a GMC Arcadia. It's a nice car. Got less than 30,000 miles on it, but we're not in love with it. No, and we don't necessarily need, to have that big of a car or that, to spend $25,000 on it. And so we're looking at it and saying, how do we do this differently?
That's kind of what I'm wondering is, I mean, if you don't like the car, $25,000 can buy you another nice car. So I would probably shop around to see, what can I get for $25,000 or less? Like you said, you may not need that much car and you could have some more money in the bank.
Right.
So here's what Matthew, if I'm in your shoes, I'm going to do the early buyout on both, pay the stupid tax, be done with this debt. It's going to cost you $52,000, which you have in the bank. You said you had $75,000. And once you do that, you can sell both of them and buy reasonable cars with cash, no more loans, no more debt. And then we're free and clear. And if you need to restock your emergency fund from there, that's great. But right now we're in debt payoff mode, get cars. Now we can start doing the steps because you're doing 17 things at once. You're trying to throw extra on the mortgage. We've got the emergency fund. We're trying to pay off the debt. And when that happens, you can't make the progress you're looking for and you get frustrated. So that's what I would do. Get out of debt as quickly as possible. Good news is you guys have the money in the bank and you have a fantastic income. And what we say around cars is everything with a motor in it should not add up to more than 50% of your income. And you guys are in that parameter. So you can buy $25,000 cars that you love instead of being in this lease and do it with cash. So that's our advice. We're sticking to it. Tanya's up next in Idaho. All right, Tanya, what do you got for us? How's it going?
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
So my husband and I, a couple years ago, started a business, and this is in addition to having 2 full-time jobs.
Wow.
And immediately, it was something that I did not want to do. I wanted to back out while we still had the legal right to do so in the inspection and feasibility study process. But I went along with the vision, and we have been in the red ever since we opened. My husband has now lost his job and just cashed out part of his 401k to keep the business floating that's in addition to another $20,000 line of credit, $20,000 in a credit card to keep the business open. And, of course, this has caused division within our marriage. And we are now looking at one of three possibilities. One, accepting a lowball offer on the business where we would still have to come up with another $30,000 to $50,000 cash to be able to walk away from it. Two, shut the doors, try and make the payment on the loan and the building out of our income. Or three, try and work with someone else that might be able to take the business to the next level, maybe more product and services offered through the restaurant, and keep it going and maybe get some income that way.
So this is a restaurant, right?
It's a bakery coffee house currently. The third option we would bring in someone we know who's been a cook their whole life and has run restaurants and maybe add more to it, which would also mean putting in additional commercial kitchen equipment.
Which sounds like more debt.
Fryers, which sounds like more debt.
So we're not doing that. Anything that involves continuing the bleeding, we are just taking off the table. And that means we're getting creative. We're going to be scrappy. We're going to move slow. I'm not going to tell you you should or shouldn't file bankruptcy. I don't know enough about your business. That's something you should contact a bankruptcy attorney for. But what I can tell you is that there's other ways. There is hope. But it starts with saying we're not going to do it with debt, because clearly that's going to only hurt our chances of getting out of this thing, of surviving. So your husband lost his job. What was he doing?
He worked as a corporate investigations officer, so everything from espionage at a corporate level to threats of violence at work, that sort of thing.
Wow. Okay. Well, step one, we need to get him back to work and see if you can start to cash flow some of this from your other full-time jobs. This may mean 70-hour weeks, bringing the other person in, giving them equity because we can't pay a lot right now, doing whatever it takes before I'm throwing in the towel and filing bankruptcy, which will follow you forever, and it's going to be a nightmare to go through that. I don't want that for you guys. There could be a way out, and so investigate this, do your homework, and please, no more debt. This is The Ramsey Show. This is The Ramsey Show. I'm George Campbell, joined by Christina Ellis this hour. 888-825-5225 is the number to call. You jump in, we'll talk about your life and your money. Josh is up next in San Antonio. Josh, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, George and Christina. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. How's it going?
Pretty good. My dad is into Wyndham timeshare rewards, and he's looking to add me and my four siblings on as like co-owners or being able to use it all, and so we would all split the time and split the points and share it all, and it all sounds great. But
and split the costs.
I don't know how to tell him exactly. And so, and my two oldest sisters don't get along either. So I'm not looking forward to getting into something with all of them where we would all have to share it and communicate and pay the fees, and but it'll pay for itself. So I just don't know how to go about telling him that my wife are not interested when all my other siblings are.
Gosh, it's so hard because my mom used to love to go to the timeshare presentations and get the free tickets to Disney World. And I remember sitting through them, and they really sell this idea of legacy. They make it sound like, oh, this is something that you can pass down to generations, and you'll be so excited to give it to your kids, and your kids are going to be excited. And that's just not the reality.
No.
And exactly. So he's been doing this for 25 years and he's really been looking forward to it. And that's kind of the buildup. And we had a little bit of hinting that we don't want in on it, but I basically need to tell him that we're totally out. And I don't know really how to break it to him.
Yeah. Well, does he love the program? Is he a mega fan, or do you think that there's any inkling that he wants out?
No, he's a mega fan.
Well, you don't have to be. And I know this is easier said than done, but there's these two letters, they make up one word, and that is no. If you want to be really nice, you can say, no, thank you. And that's it. I mean, at the end of the day, he can't force you into this. And if this is what's going to cause a rift in the relationship, then so be it. If this is what his line is of saying, Josh, if you're not going to join the timeshare, then I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Do you think it's going to be that level of animosity?
No, I don't think it's going to be that level of animosity. We've also just kind of talked about, like, hey, do we just kind of, like, pacify it and basically do it, but then not use it and just kind of let my siblings use it?
No, there's no, if you jump into it, you're stuck with the costs forever.
Right.
Well, and a lot of times if you do the math, it doesn't work out well for you.
It never works out.
I've sat down with my mom and talked through the math, and I used to love sitting in the timeshare presentations with her because, one, she's tough as nails and has no problem telling people no, and two, it kind of prepped me for this job because I would just go through the numbers and write them down, and they'd be like, look at these numbers, you're going to save so much. And it's like when you really break out the math, you don't. And so, I mean, I even wonder if you kind of approach it a little bit from a numbers perspective and even like a comparison perspective of our generation. I think we kind of see vacation a bit different. There's so many different alternative options. By the time you add up all the fees for these timeshares, you could get an Airbnb that's got 3 bedrooms for a lot cheaper.
It makes you want to throw up when you do the math, Josh, and you go, all right, what is this costing us a year? Okay, it's costing us $6,000. What would we do with $6,000? Well, we can book some pretty sweet hotels for a week for $6,000. We can get some Airbnbs. We can do a lot of things. We can take multiple trips and go where we want instead of hope that it's on the Wyndham, point system and we can move it around and there's no blackout dates. And so, I mean, the conversation is the hardest part here. I think in your heart we're not doing this. And so your dad better than we do of how you're going to approach this in a respectful way. And sometimes I talk to my dad, and I'm like, listen, I don't agree with this financial decision, and I have to just end it and say, I love you too much to continue in this argument. We're going to stop it here. And so you can hit him with all the stats. I mean, you can say, hey, this is expensive. This has no investment value. It's not an asset. I don't own anything. The maintenance costs are going to rise 4% annually. Say we don't have the money. We have priorities in life, and owning a timeshare isn't one of them. I'd rather own actual real estate instead of this metaverse level, a sense of ownership. Like, I don't do NFTs and I don't do timeshares for the same reason. I want actual ownership, not a sense of ownership.
Well, and the fact that he's a mega fan, like, maybe you can even just, like, you're not trying to convince him to sell it at this point. It doesn't sound like he's willing to do that, but maybe even the assurance that, hey, we'll still go on vacation with you. Like, if you want us to come along for your timeshare, like, we'll still go with you. We just don't want to be owners of this. We don't want this for us.
Right. That makes a lot of sense, and I think approaching it from, we have different goals, and we definitely want to own real estate and own vacation properties and things like that. But yeah,
that's
almost nailed it on the head.
I want to actually own it. I don't want a forced vacation.
The maintenance fees are about $7,500 a month or $7,500 a year. So I think you nailed it right on the head.
Gross. No thanks, Josh. Good luck with the conversation, man. And here's the other thing that could convince him. Go to eBay and search timeshare and go to completed and sold listings and then rate it from lowest to highest price. You will see timeshares that sold for $1.
Legit.
That's how badly people want to get rid of these things. They are just selling them for $1 because it doesn't actually cost $1. It costs $8,000 a year, and that goes up 4% every year with headaches. So good luck with that, man. Gosh, I hate timeshares.
Yeah,
the worst.
It's such a slimy industry.
I hope once Gen Z takes over, we're just done with timeshares. I'm sure they'll come up with other stupid decisions, but I hope timeshares will be like dinosaurs. They'll just be gone. No one will do them anymore. It's like cigarettes. We know it's not cool.
I think there's already plenty of stupid decisions out in the market. But
that is true.
Maybe this one will be gone.
One less one out there. All right, Joseph's up next in Orange County, California. Joseph, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to go ahead and help me out.
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm 22 years old. I just recently got a new career. I'm kind of jumping in terms of how much money I'm making now. So for a little context, the last 4 years, I have kind of just been working part-time jobs, really trying to get into the career that I just got into. So I went from making $10,000 a year to now having a starting salary of around $80,000.
Wow, way to go.
Yeah. And other people in my field at the position I'm at are making $150,000 with overtime. So I'm just honestly a little bit overwhelmed because I haven't really been the best at budgeting money due to the fact that I haven't had a lot coming in. And now I have a decent, I know in California, $100K doesn't really go too far, but it's a huge jump for me. So I'm trying to figure out now how I should be trying to build my portfolios or how to start putting money aside so that, I can be successful and have a lot of money in the future for myself. The career that I have does provide a full pension, full health benefits. So I've just been asking around, and I'm just really stuck on if I should be trying to save money for real estate, putting money into a Roth IRA. I just honestly have no idea how to start.
We're up against the clock here, so this is going to be like lightning round. So you're making $80K. How much debt do you have?
I have no debt right now.
Fantastic. How much money do you have in the bank?
I have $5,000 in the bank, but I also have $25,000 that was left to me as an inheritance that I haven't touched. So I have that as well.
Awesome. So on that side, get with a SmartVestor Pro, figure out if there's any tax implications, but that could kind of catapult you to where you have a fully funded emergency fund. Now we can start investing. And is the pension the only option you have? Is there a 401k as well, or just pension?
Yeah, I do have the option for a 401k. My company does match up to $20,000 a year.
Awesome. That's amazing.
So that's another thing.
So I might look into that option so that you actually own this. You have more control over it. It doesn't die with you like the pension. I don't know if it's an either-or situation, but look into that. And as far as the budgeting side, I love that you have the self-awareness to go like, I know I haven't been great budgeting, and I want to be great. And so we can help you with that by gifting you 1 year of Every Dollar Premium, which is our app. It's a website. You can go in and track all of that. And with the premium version, it'll connect to your bank, and you can just drag transactions in, and that way you'll have a plan for every dollar. But right now, it sounds like we want to get started investing once we have 3 to 6 months of expenses. And beyond that, it's, hey, can we save up a down payment on a house? Can we upgrade the car? All of those things. So do you have those goals in mind?
Yes, definitely. I definitely want to be a property owner. That's always been a goal of mine.
Awesome. Well, it's going to be a lot closer, man, making this kind of money. Good for you. 22, making $80K.
Golly, I love it.
We love to see it. Well, wishing you the best, Joseph. Hang on the line. Jen is going to pick up. We're going to gift you Every Dollar Premium. Let's go ahead and throw in Financial Peace University. That will give you the full plan, since we ran out of time here, of how you're going to do that, how to buy real estate wisely. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to Christina Ellis and all the folks in the booth, Jenna and Ben and Austin and Andrew and Josh. And you, America, we appreciate you listening. We'll be back with you before you know it.
Have you been inspired to make a change with your money? Want to know where to start? Take our 3-minute money quiz to get a plan you can follow. Go to RamseySolutions.com and search for Get Started to get a plan for your money. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm your host, Christina Ellis, joined by my co-host, George Campbell. Give us a call, 888-825-5225. We're answering your questions about your life and your money, and we'd love to chat with you, so give us a call. First up, we have David calling from Seattle, Washington. Hey, David. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Christina. Hey, George. It's a pleasure talking to you guys.
Good talking to you, too. How can we help?
I guess, so I've saved up quite a bit of money, at least quite a bit for me, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. Just to give you a quick background, I have, I guess, $19,000 in student loans, and I guess with the whole student loan forgiveness thing, I'm just kind of confused as to what to do right now.
Welcome to the party, my friend.
Yeah, that's a lot of people right now.
Confusing times out there in student loan forgiveness world.
Yep.
So what exactly is your question?
Yeah, I have $50,000 saved up, just being frugal, I guess, with my wife and I. My wife's in the military.
Good for you.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I have the ability to pay it off, but I don't know if right now is the time. And then we're also thinking once she's out of the military, we want to buy a house. And so we're kind of pondering on what to do with the excess. Should it just stay in the savings account where it's at, or put it in some sort of investment account?
Do y'all have any other debt?
No.
Okay.
And is that your emergency fund in that $50K as well?
Yeah, so about, I guess, 9 to 12 of that would be an emergency fund.
Okay, what's your income?
So together, I make 90. My wife makes about 36, something like that. So 120 base, I guess.
Great.
Man, David, it's a tricky time right now with student loan forgiveness. So there's a lot of opinions out there, a lot of lawsuits out there, and a lot of people really excited about forgiveness. And we're kind of in this month where it's make or break. We're going to see some movement, hopefully one way or another. And if we don't see movement, then that's concerning. So where it's at right now, they said the applications for forgiveness were going to be available at the beginning of the month. And then they said it was going to be the 17th. And now they're saying the 24th. So it seems like it keeps getting pushed back. They did release a preview of the application. And I don't know how I feel about that, because it kind of feels a little bit like dangling the carrot to say, hey, it's still here.
It feels like a movie studio and the movie's not done. Like, just put a trailer out there. Just buy us some time, man.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a strange time. I mean, I feel like by the end of the month, the end of October, we should have some clarity in some direction. A lot of the lawsuits out there are some that have some teeth. I was reading this morning that a federal judge is trying to block it in one state. And there's several, I think there's 6 states that are in on the lawsuit. So there's just a lot of movement this month. So if it were me, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, George, but I would probably wait to the end of the month just to see what happens. I mean, we're only weeks away from seeing decisions and a little bit more clarity. I'm not exactly holding my breath that it's going to happen, because a lot could change in the next month. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't think forgiveness is going to happen at all. And so it's a really tricky time, but I would give it maybe a few weeks just to see if these applications actually come out. And if not, then it's great that you have the money to pay it off. I love that if student loan forgiveness ends up not happening for whatever reason, that you could take that money right now and wipe out those student loans.
Right.
Now,
yeah, that was kind of the plan.
Are those your student loans, hers? Who's it fall to?
Yeah, they're mine.
So best case, you would get $10K forgiven?
Well, we're married, so I think it would be the full 19 or 20, I guess. I had like 30. I had 30 originally, but I paid off, I guess, up
But if they're
until
not
19.
her loans, it's not $10,000 per person; it's per borrower.
Did you have a Pell Grant when you were in college?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's $20,000.
So just on your own, regardless of being married, you would qualify for that if it was Pell Grant.
Right. Yeah.
So, Christina, correct me if I'm wrong. If he paid it off today, he could still qualify to get forgiveness if it comes down the road.
Well, and they're doing the refund, where if you paid it off,
saying. You get a refund.
During the pause, you could apply for the refund and then get it forgiven. So
yeah, I mean, if you want to wait the 2 weeks and see if anything happens, I'm personally not holding my breath. If I'm in your shoes, I feel good about paying it off. You get $50K in the bank. Let's call 15 your emergency fund. That makes me feel better with your income and expenses. That leaves you 35. You pay off the 19. That still leaves you with 16. Now you're completely debt-free. You have a fully funded emergency fund. You have $16,000 in the bank. Now is the time we can start saving on top of that for the down payment.
Right. Yeah, and so just in quick point to that, we're not planning on, I guess, buying for a while, just because just being in the military and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we definitely have the option to. So we just didn't know if it's best to put it in a savings account, or should we look more long-term?
Is this 3 years out, or is this 7 years out?
It's right on 3 years.
Okay. If it's 3 years or less, I would stick to a high-yield savings account online. Right now, you can get over 2%, sometimes over 3% with bonuses, and that money can grow at least for you. But the point of this is not to grow at 9-10%, because as you've seen, the stock market's been a little crazy lately. And so people that 2 years ago said, I'm going to put my house down payment in the stock market, and 2 years from now, it's going to grow so much, and I'm going to get a house. Well, now they're crying because their accounts are down 25%. And so it worries me when you have a short time horizon to throw the money into the market. If it's 5+ years, I feel better about that, because over that period of time, the money, historically will have grown.
Yeah. How do you think? What's your advice for people trying to figure out the best high yield savings account? Where should people put their money?
So there's tons of online banks these days, but I look at ones that have a long-term track record. Always make sure it's FDIC, which means it's insured by the government. In case the bank goes bankrupt, your money's secure. up to $250,000 per depositor on the account. So if you're married, it's a joint account, you have up to $500,000. And so most of the banks do that, but you just want to be careful because some of these will promise big interest numbers, but they might be temporary. So I've had good experiences with Ally and with Marcus by Goldman Sachs as good, solid, high-yield savings account options.
Now, some of these best high-yield savings account options, they're online banks, and I know some people can feel kind of nervous about that. What would you say to kind of alleviate fear around that?
That's where it goes back to the proven track record. How long have these people been around? Ally's been around forever. Marcus is a Goldman Sachs company. It's been around forever. It's FDIC insured. So I don't see it any different as your local bank security level. And so obviously you want to have good fraud protection and password security and, multi-factor authentication and some things to protect your password. But other than that, it's no different than having your debit card associated with your checking account. So this is a great option. Be careful, though, because some of these online banks, you can't wire money out if you're trying to close on your home. So you want to make sure you have a good month window of time to get the money out to your checking account with your local bank to do any kind of home purchasing.
It's a good word, George. We're taking your calls, 888-825-5225. We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. We're taking your calls, 888-825-5225. Up next, we have Kinsey calling from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hey, Kinsey, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you guys?
We're doing great. Thanks for calling. How can we help?
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. So my question is regarding paying off our house. So my husband and I bought a house about a month and a half ago. We did a 30-year mortgage. This was before I started listening to you guys, so I know you would probably poo-poo that. But we're just trying to figure out a plan of how we can pay it off as quick as we can, just taking a peek at our budget and trying to find some areas where we could cut back on. In particular, one area that we're looking at is investing. So we both invest 15% of our income. And I don't know if we're investing too much, if we should be investing 15% combined or individual.
Great questions, Kinsey. So, yes, you both want to invest 15% because that's 15% of your total household income by the end of the year.
Okay.
And so out of all the areas to cut, I would not cut investing. You guys are doing so great in that area. And when we talk about baby steps 4, 5, 6, we do those at the same time. So you got 15%. Do you guys have kids?
We don't, no.
Okay, so we are fast passing through baby step 5. Now we're baby step 6. You guys have no debt other than the house?
No debt, just the house, yeah.
Wonderful, and a fully funded emergency fund.
Fully funded, yes.
This is the place to be. Okay, so how much margin do you guys have right now while investing 15%? What is left at the end of the month to throw extra on top of the principal?
Yeah, so we have probably about like $3,000. So we think we can probably throw like at least $1,500 extra a month at it.
You have an extra $3,000 on top of being able to pay your mortgage?
Correct.
So why not throw the whole $3,000? Do you have other things you're trying to save up for?
Not particularly. I guess our expenses just might change every month. Like we just got into this house, we have stuff to buy for it. So trying to kind of budget out like things we want to buy for the house, and otherwise we don't really have like many other expenses. We have a travel fund. I try to throw money into a travel fund so we can take trips here and there. But no, I guess just trying to figure out like what's a good amount to save. I mean, we have a savings right now with probably like $25,000 in it. And I don't know if we should just take from that and maybe throw some of that at the mortgage too.
Well, if that's beyond your goal for your emergency fund, let's say your emergency fund goal is for 4 or 5 months and that adds up to $20,000. That means that extra $5,000 we can now use for these kind of house projects, renovations.
Okay.
And you can also
that would be separate from our emergency fund, another
Exactly.
$25,000.
I like separating the emergency fund because all of a sudden the sale at the mall turns into an emergency. And so keeping it separate and going, is this unexpected? Is this urgent? Is this necessary? That qualifies as a true emergency. Me wanting to wallpaper the bathroom this weekend, this is a personal attack on my wife. That is not a true emergency, and so we're going to save up for that separately. And you can do that with a sinking fund line item in your budget. So you could say, hey, house repairs and projects, I'm going to put $200 every month into that fund so that by the end of the year, we have $2,400 we can spend.
What's the total mortgage y'all have right now?
So the total mortgage is $2,500 a month. That's including taxes too in there.
What's the loan amount?
It's $389.
Okay.
And what's your household income?
We probably make about like $140, I would say, around there.
Okay. So your take-home pay is probably, I'm guessing, $8,000 or $9,000. What does that come out to? Probably closer to $8,000.
I think it ends up being closer to like $7,000.
Okay, because you're investing before that hits your bank account?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So one, I mean, you guys are doing great to still have $3,000 of margin, but that mortgage is 35% of your income every month, and that's on a 30-year.
Right.
And so you guys bought a whole lot of house comparatively to your income and down payment levels, which you will survive. You're in a good spot financially, but I'm with you. I don't want to have this debt any longer than I have to. And so if we can pay it off faster than 15 years, that's the goal. So we have a great mortgage payoff calculator at RamseySolutions.com. Go jump onto that. You can click on free tools, and you can enter in your loan amount, enter in your date of your first payment, enter in the loan length, which for you guys is 30 years, and the interest rate, and that add on how much extra you're going to put. And that will start to give you a picture of, oh my gosh, if we could find another $400, we can pay this off 3 years faster. How cool would that be?
Well, George, you have experience with this personally. You paid off your house early.
Yes, we did this December 2021, and we did our debt-free scream this past January, and that was part of the game to us, which I guess we're just sick people, but we were like always doing the calculations.
Yes.
Like we can put another $400 towards this. That speeds it up by this much and this much. So I love having a goal, saying, hey, what if we could pay it off in the next 8 years, and then try to beat that goal over time. And you meet the people on the stage, everyone's debt-free journey tends to go faster once they get into it because it's addictive and they're willing to sacrifice more and more as they get closer.
Well, I think that's a huge key is having that clear goal and having something to push towards. Because if not, it is easy to go, you know what, I think I want that extra throw pillow. I want that extra, piece of furniture. But if you've got that clear goal, you've got a timeline, you've got something that you're really charging towards, I think it just makes you that much more motivated.
Oh, absolutely. And I speak on behalf of all guys and say, we don't need any more throw pillows. We don't need any more shams, which is a great name because that thing is a sham. You can't even sleep on it. You get yelled at.
All right. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promo codes they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from Andy in Tennessee. He asks, if we save for 18 years in a 529 plan and our daughter doesn't use it for education, what can we do with that money? That is a great question. So many people are worried about investing because they're going, well, what if my kid doesn't go to college, Christina?
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how expensive. I'm just not going to invest.
That's not the best option because
I'm just making the impression here.
Well, there are a lot of different options that you have with a 529 if your student doesn't end up using that money. So for starters, you could transfer it to another beneficiary. So if there's a sibling coming up that's going to need to go to college, you can transfer that money to them. You can also transfer it to other family members. So a niece or a nephew.
It's very generous.
It's very
of the
generous.
Permissible family members. You can do spouse, child, grandchild, siblings, parents, step-parents, nephews, nieces, aunts, uncles, and even first cousins.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how far out that goes. So there's a lot of options. You can also save that money for future educational needs. So maybe your student isn't going to college right now. Maybe they don't want a 4-year education right now, but maybe in 5 years they go, hey, I changed my mind. I want to go back and get a certificate. I want to go to trade school. Or even if they are in college and they didn't use all that money, they could go to grad school. So that money could get used later on. And then you can also save it for a grandchild. So let's say your kid doesn't go to school. Maybe that's an educational legacy that you leave for your family later on. And I would just make sure to highlight with that to talk to a tax pro, because there are some implications with skipping generations. But you can still set it up in a way where that fund is available for future children.
Yeah.
And then also a really cool thing is they have penalty-free scholarship withdrawals.
I love this. A lot of people don't know about this.
A lot of people don't know about this. So check out that, because you can use that money without some of the penalties and challenges that people...
If I get a $10,000 scholarship, then the 529 plan was a waste. No, you can withdraw $10,000 from the account to your bank account against that scholarship with no penalties. That's amazing.
Exactly. So it also encourages you to still pursue scholarships aggressively. I think some people who have 529 plans are like, hey, we've already saved up this money. My kid doesn't really need scholarships. We'll still go for the scholarships, because if they get those scholarships, that money can go to something else. It can go to their wedding, a down payment on a house, or something in the future. So still keep the motivation for both.
And remember, if you start investing, there's in this example from age 0 to 18, and you just put $2,000 a year in that thing. That's $36,000 over 18 years. Well, the growth on that account, it could grow up to $100,000, which means the majority of the money in that account was all growth.
That's amazing. Yeah, and even if you only have $25 to invest, I think we took a call a few weeks ago where somebody was like, I only have this tiny bit. Is it even worth it? Yes, $25 a month is way better than nothing. So,
especially with the power of compound interest.
Exactly. Well, we're taking your calls, 888-825-5225. This is The Ramsey Show. Right now is the time of year when it's make or break when it comes to our goals. We're heading into holiday season, and let's be real, it's hard to stay motivated. We all have goals, whether it's to find a better job, make more money, pay off debt, build stronger relationships, and it can be hard to keep momentum going. But here's the good news. Coming up in a couple weeks, we have one of our biggest events, Smart Conference. We're headed to Dallas for a day-long, jam-packed event where you'll get advice from leading experts on money, personal growth, career, mental health, and your marriage. You'll leave with all the knowledge and motivation you need to reach your goals and live the life you want. Join me and the rest of our Ramsey personalities, Dave Ramsey, Dr. John Deloney, Ken Coleman, and George Campbell, and Rachel Cruz to get a plan for your money, your relationships, personal growth, and career. Join us live in person on October 22nd to get your passes before they sell out. Visit RamseySolutions.com/events to get your tickets today.
Just almost a week away. How crazy is that?
So excited.
It's going to be a good time. Live band, highly entertaining. I did my rehearsal yesterday.
Oh, I'm excited for that part.
I'm feeling good about it. It should be a good time. And if you're not in Dallas, I want you to know that people travel from all over the country to join us for this event, and it is so worth the drive, the flight, whatever you got to do. Bring the whole family. It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be so fun. All right, up next, we have Tyson calling from Idaho Falls, Idaho. Hey, Tyson, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for calling. How can we help?
Hey, so first thing, I just want to wish my wife a happy birthday. It's her birthday today.
Oh, husband of the year for that shout out.
Happy birthday.
My question has to deal with ESOP shares that I receive from my company. My company is an ESOP company, and whether or not to count that as part of my 15% going into retirement.
Great question. So how much do you have?
As far as shares?
Yeah.
Right now, it's valued at about $30,000.
Okay. I would not count that as part of your 15%, but I love that you have them. How are you fully vested? Could you cash out today?
As far as cashing out, I don't believe so. I think the only way you can redeem those shares is leaving the company there is an option to roll them into what's called an ESOP 401k, to my understanding.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if there's a way I can actually cash that and roll them into like a traditional IRA.
Okay. Yeah, do your homework on that. I personally, some of these programs can be great because you're getting stocks at a discount, but if you're not cashing them out immediately to kind of get your most return on that, it worries me because of the volatility. Obviously, you work at this company, so you believe in it, but single stocks in general are way too volatile for me to be putting my money in. And so from a just 30,000-foot view, I go, oh boy, this worries me. So I wouldn't count it part as your 15%. Do you have any other retirement options there, like a traditional 401k, Roth 401k? Oh, sorry, you left the line there. Let's see if we can get him back. Are you still with us there? Oh, it's
yes,
all right.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. So do you have a 401k as well?
Yes, I currently contribute 15% into a Roth 401k as well.
Oh, perfect. I would continue doing that. And then are these shares, is it mandatory? How does the ESOP work for you? Are you putting additional money into that to buy the stocks at a discount?
No, so basically as the company is profitable, certain amount of shares are given to each employee based off how well the company does.
Oh, great. So it's like a bonus, kind of a profit-sharing situation.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a company match type of thing, but I didn't know if that was different from a 401k match to an ESOP share.
Yeah, I keep doing what you're doing. 15% to that Roth 401k, and I see this as icing on the cake. This is gravy. When you leave, you got a big pile of cash from these stocks, and I would cash out as soon as you're able to, and that way you have more control over it. You can put that in good growth stock mutual funds, index funds, and it's way more diversified, way less risk. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, up next we have Noelle calling from Knoxville, Tennessee. Hey, Noelle, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'll try to be as clear as I can, and please, questions at any time. My mother passed away earlier this year, leaving my disabled 52-year-old brother who is on disability without a home and with no inheritance to care for him. How can I and my other brother best try to care for him financially moving forward and possibly set him up for better care?
I'm so sorry to hear about your mom and the situation with your brother you're now left dealing with.
Yeah.
So how old are you?
So I'm 46, and I have another brother that is 47, and this brother is 52. So he was currently living with my mother and was a dependent on her, and she actually put the house into a trust, which is supposed to be sold and distributed amongst other beneficiaries. So he does not have a home at this time, but anything that she had left over, she distributed it completely to others in inheritance.
What do you mean to others?
Other family members, things like that. So basically, those that will benefit from the sale of the house in the trust would be like the 8 grandchildren. Other money that she might have had in retirement will go to possibly a sister, a niece, things like that.
Was anything left to your brother?
Nothing. Nothing was left to my brother, myself, or my other brother at this time.
Did your mother talk to you about that and why she set it up that way?
She did not. No.
So was this a surprise to you when she passed and they went, that's weird, they skipped us?
Yeah. It was to everybody, and we've tried working with someone to kind of figure out if there was something that was done improperly, if I could say that in a nice way, and there's nothing we can do at this point. So now moving forward, we just have to start taking care of things and making sure that he has the care that he has in the future, and he is on a fixed income.
Okay, what is his income?
I believe he brings in approximately $1,100 a month.
All right.
From disability and possibly Social Security.
Where is he now? Where is he living?
So right now he is currently living in the home before it is to be sold.
And then we're kind of going, all right, what's next? We got to get him some housing.
Correct. We currently have opened both of our houses, my brother and myself. He lives in Michigan, and I live in Tennessee.
Okay.
So that is an option. We're looking more medically, how we can take care of his medical needs moving forward. I know probably a strict budget of his disability income definitely is a must. I was thinking possibly looking into the long-term care insurance, but I do not know that he's going to qualify because he does have some current disability.
Yeah, I would reach out to our friends at Xander to at least see what the options are because of his disability and see what he would qualify for to help out the situation.
Okay. So in terms of housing, he can live with one of y'all long term, right?
He can. That is correct. We'll probably have to modify our homes slightly, things like that. So he can, but I guess, and he does have Medicare, but we do know that that's probably not the best in the long run, nursing homes, care, things like that. So that's why we wanted to kind of look into what can we do now in the future to possibly get, a little bit more maybe in-home care if needed. How could we possibly go about doing that now, saving up aside the possible long-term and care insurance?
Yeah.
What other options, if anybody knows?
Does he need full-time care? What's that situation like?
Not at this moment. He does not, but it's something where his body is deteriorating as the days go on. So it's something that's definitely going to be in the future. How soon, that we don't know. That we do not know.
Well, for now, let's get this house situation figured out.
Correct. Yeah.
And get that thing sold. Then have him move in with one of you, whatever makes more sense temporarily, while we do our research, do our homework, look into the different insurance plans, talk to our friends at Xander, and figure out what's the most affordable option to get him the care he needs right now. If he needs more, then later on down the road, we do more homework and figure out how we do that later on. But you guys getting in a financial position between you and the brother, talking about this, how are we going to handle this financially, logistically, making a plan for all of that, that's the best thing you can do right now for him. But I'm so sorry you're put in this situation. That's a tough place to be. But you sound like a great sister, for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call.
We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day is, "Do not judge others, and you will not be judged, for you will be treated as you treat others. The standard you use in judging is the standard by which you will be judged." Matthew 7:1-2. Their quote of the day is, "Those who judge will never understand, and those who understand will never judge." Wilson Candini. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. This is Christina Ellis, joined by George Camel. Up next, we have Mateus calling from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for taking my call, Christina and George. How are you?
Thanks for calling. We're great. How can we help?
So I'm a long-time listener and a first-time caller. I decided today to answer George's call to action and called in.
It worked, Christina. Woo! I was like, if you've been on the sidelines, you've been thinking about calling, today's your day. Thanks for calling, man. How can we help? What's going on?
All right, so I've been doing Davish for a while, and I was debt-free until I decided to request a refund of my payment towards my student loan debt that I made since 2020. And the amount I am expected to receive is $33,504.
Hold up. You took the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
What made you decide to take the whole thing?
So I recently purchased a condo, and I just figured that having as much money as I could have would help with the remodeling of the home and also just keeping up with the payments of the house.
But you worked really hard to pay it off. You were super motivated to pay off the student loan initially, correct?
Correct.
And then what kind of changed since then?
I had this itch to get into real estate, become a real estate investor, and grow my wealth through real estate investing.
How old are you?
I'm 26 years old.
Okay. Did you watch a few too many TikToks? Is this what happened?
No, I'm actually really big on podcasts, and I've been listening to other
real estate podcasts?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the good news is this is a reversible decision, right? Hopefully you haven't spent this money yet?
No, so they're still processing it. I haven't received it yet.
Okay. Well, the good news is as soon as you receive this money, you're going to go back and you're going to pay off that $33,000.
Yeah, hit the brakes. Hit the brakes immediately. Send that money back.
You are robbing
that
Peter
was
to
my
pay Paul.
question.
This is like I cashed out my 401k to buy real estate. Or I did a cash out refi to get another property and now I'm further into debt. You're moving backwards instead of forwards. And it looks on paper like you're doing better, but now we sit here owing 33 that we're going to have payments on while we're trying to make payments on this real estate property that we're hoping we get a tenant in and make money off of. And so there's an order to this, and I want you to get into real estate. We love real estate around here, but there's a time and place to do it, and that's once you're completely debt-free with a fully funded emergency fund, and I want you to have your own place first.
Yeah, do you have any other debt outside of the 33?
No, I'm completely debt-free. I own my car, and I just have my mortgage payments every month now.
Okay, what's left on the mortgage loan?
So I just purchased this property. I'm in there a month now.
Okay, what's left on the loan?
$207,000.
Okay, and what's that monthly payment?
Monthly payment is $1,500.
Okay, what's your take-home pay?
Take-home pay every month is about $5,000.
Okay.
Not counting the extra side jobs I do.
Oh, nice. Okay, and I'm assuming that's on a 30-year?
Yes.
Okay. So right now your payments are about 30% of your income on a 30-year. Not ideal. I would have steered you to the 15 years, the only mortgage I would ever recommend, where the payment's no more than a quarter of your take-home pay. So a good chunk of your world right now is in this property, and I would encourage you to attack that one first and then save up and pay cash for any real estate property you buy in the future for investing.
Okay.
Yeah, and you've done this right. Like, you were on the right path. You have felt this motivation. And the thing is that student loan debt, you've paid it off. It's already been paid off. And now you can save up money and do this the right way. You can go through baby steps 4 through 6. You can pay off a house. You can then go on to baby step 7 and build wealth and give. We're not talking about someone who's never been motivated to pay off debt. We're talking about someone who's done it before. Don't lose your way now.
Yeah, you're a sharp 26-year-old guy. I mean, if you had a car payment and you had $25,000 on the loan, you paid off $25,000, would you then, as soon as you became debt-free, go out and take another $25,000 loan for fun?
No, but there is also that new thing that the government is forgiving $20,000 to $10,000 of college debt. So I was wondering if I could take it.
That's a big maybe. And right now, you for sure are back $33,000 in debt. That's a guarantee.
Also, did you have a Pell Grant?
My last semester I did, so I don't know if that qualifies me.
Okay, I would figure that out because if you had a Pell Grant, you should qualify for 20. But if you didn't, it would only be 10. But regardless, you still have more debt over and above that.
You're still further into debt with the extra 13, even if forgiveness happens.
Well, and I think the good news is you done stupid, but you can still get smart.
Yes.
You can turn
I love
around.
That this is reversible if you so choose. Please, please, please do not go out and get investment property while you have this mortgage, while you now have this student loan. This is a nightmare waiting to happen. And you called in because you felt like this was not a good idea. And I hope we convinced you that this was not a good idea and that we slow down. And yes, it may be years before you start becoming a real estate guru investor, but it's time to put down the podcast telling you to go up to your eyeballs in debt so that you can have this amazing life and have all this cash flow and passive income. It's a lie from the pit of hell, Mateus. Don't fall for this. If you need to stop listening to those podcasts for a while, that's probably the best thing to do.
Well, and George, that's kind of my fear with all of this student loan forgiveness is that it's somehow going to change people's perception of debt so that they think it's okay.
Because they go, well, they forgave it that time, so I'll just go into a bunch of credit card debt because I probably get forgiven.
Right.
That's not
but it's
how
not
this
right.
works. No.
It's not how it works. And even just that mindset shift of, okay, I might have $10,000 or $20,000 forgiven, so now I should ask for a $33,000 refund.
This drives me crazy. And the thing I'm angry about with student loan forgiveness is not people getting help. That's not it at all. It's the precedent that it sets that I can just go into debt because someone will forgive it down the line and it's not my problem anymore. And we've lost all accountability and responsibility as a society because we've decided to go, you know what, I'm going to outsource all my problems. Hey, it's not my problem. You guys made me in debt. No, you signed on the dotted line.
Right.
With any type of debt. This isn't just student loans, with credit cards, with car payments. And we have to start making better decisions for our future, that our future selves would high-five us for. And rarely in history has debt been a thing you look back and go, man, that's what really saved me, is going into $100,000 in student loan debt and having a car payment. That's what blessed me financially. No. When you don't have any debt, you make different decisions. When you have to use your own money, you make different decisions. When you have to go to college and pay for it, you make different decisions of where you go to school.
Right. Well, now they're saying with the income-based repayment program, the modifications to it, where it's capped at 5% of your income, the danger and risk is that students in the future will go, oh, well, I can just take out as much student loan debt as I want because it's going to be only 5% of my income. So why not live in a fancy house off campus? Why not max out my meal plan? Because it's going to be capped. I don't have to worry about it.
Guess what happens then? The colleges go, oh my gosh, guys, we can raise prices 1,000%. Because the kids are going to take out as many student loans as it takes to go here and have this life, and they're only going to pay 5% of the loan with their income, and so it doesn't matter.
That's the scary part.
So we're going to continue to see these numbers skyrocket.
Yeah, the trickle-down effect, the long-term repercussions. I think that I'm not saying that there were bad intentions in it. I think there were good intentions. But what are the long-term impacts? What's going to be the ripple effect? We've been fighting for so long with Borrowed Future, with the things we've been doing to get students to go to school debt-free. We want to change perspective and help people realize they don't need debt to get their education. But it's kind of scary thinking, how is this going to change people's perspectives? Is it going to make people feel a little bit more free and easy around debt and just think, oh, it's not a big deal. Like, I'll just get my $33,000 back.
Debt is easy to access and convenient and a shortcut, people will continue to take it. And so it's time for the government to stop guaranteeing this risk-free on behalf of the student loan companies. Terrible idea.
Right. And if you are a parent or you are a mentor or someone who loves a student, encourage them to go to school debt-free. And also, if you have someone in your life who has student loans and is waiting for a refund, remind them if they still have money beyond that refund, they have to start paying in January. Like, there is still responsibility around these loans. All right, that puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Big thanks to everyone in the booth, to my co-host, George Camel, and to you, America. Thanks for listening. We'll be back soon.
Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.